year, 2018, is upon us, which leaves us with the memory of 2017. Namely, the action figures released that year. My name is Captain McKay, and before you can even finish asking in the comments, the answer is yes, the Young Bucks are my brothers. I taught them a bunch of wrestling moves, and they went on to be pro wrestlers. I decided to stay on YouTube and review action figures and do stop motion animation, so we've both achieved worldwide superstardom, and I'm very proud of those guys. But the answer is yes, we are related. Anyway, let's move forward and let's talk about some of the finest action figures that have come out in 2017. And again, this is going to be my personal list, so it's not going to be a huge, whole industry-wide countdown. It's more like just going to be the stuff I bought and the stuff I like best. Don't be misled by the title. This isn't meant to be like a be-all, end-all countdown. There's a lot of stuff I just didn't get in 2017, so there will be figures that are noticeably missing from this list. I don't have that D-Generation X Shawn Michaels from ringside. I don't have that Kurt Angle entrance grades, so you won't see them on the list, even though they both look like great figures, and other people could probably tell you that they are in fact awesome. What I will suggest to you while watching this video is take it with a grain of salt. You know, as when you watch any of these countdown videos or any of that kind of stuff, it's all just one guy's opinion, namely me, so if you disagree, that's fine. Leave me a comment and let me know, hey, maybe I would have placed this figure higher than that one. If you want to insult me, that's fine too, as long as you share the video so that other people can really just frickin' get their shots into. Without further ado, here is part 1 of this top 20 figures countdown. That's right, 20. You get 2 videos for the price of 1, aka 2 videos for free, I guess. That's whatever. Again, all my personal opinion. If you own any of these figures yourself, let me know what you think of them. And here we go.
Now before we get started, honorable mention has to be made for SH Monster Arts and their Destroya figure. This was originally released a few years back, but they recolored it and re-released it in 2017. Now technically, since this figure is basically just a repaint, I don't know if it really belongs on my list, but then again, I have other figures that are basically repaints on here too, so I mean, I don't even play by my own rules, I guess. Anyway, Destroya is a big figure and very detailed. Plus, he includes 8 little tanks that all look great. I wasn't sure about the $150 price point at first, but honestly, I think he's worth it. Awesome figure, and he looks great in any Godzilla-themed display. Alright, we kick things off with the SummerSlam 1999 Mankind. Mattel knocked it out with this guy. Now this figure is basically just a redeco of the earlier Elite Mankind with a different tie. He includes Socko, just like the original version, but he also comes with the Heavyweight Championship from the Attitude Era, which he won at that year's SummerSlam. Mattel managed to take an already excellent figure and improve it by way of including the belt. Now since I already own the original version, I haven't had a reason to crack this guy open yet, but even mint on card, he looks great. Awesome figure. And moving on to other WWE figures, Elite Series 47B Goldust. This was the version of Goldust that I have been waiting for. Mattel has released a lot of figures of Goldust, but most of them have been more modern versions. We finally got the flashback to the New Generation era, complete with the soft goods robe. Unlike the earlier Elite Goldust with the plastic entrance robe, this one makes it possible to fully pose your figure while he's wearing the robe. It's the little things that make me happy, I guess. The downside is, all the other Goldust figures have better head sculpts. Now this face doesn't quite capture his likeness. But, all in all, that doesn't really hinder this figure from being one of my favorites. Elite Series 52 D'Lo Brown. Now Mattel did a great job with this flashback. The attire is really detailed, the body type is perfect, and the likeness of the face is recognizable. The removable chest protector is a great addition, and it was essential to D'Lo. I also like that they included his European Championship, which around 1998 and 1999 would have been a belt that was hotly contested between he and X-Pac. If this winds up being the only D'Lo figure we get, then this is a great one to have. I'm very happy with this figure. SH Figuarts Nappa. Now there have been a few DBZ figures released in the last year, including an updated version of Vegeta from his original arc on the series. This led to our first figure of Nappa, who in my opinion is a very strong offering. He has enough size and mass to make him look very imposing over other DBZ figures, and the way they made his shoulder pads and waist armor pieces articulate make the figure pretty posable for his size. Extra heads, hands, and the blast effect make this guy worth the price point, and he looked great standing alongside Vegeta. This figure is way better than the prototype we were initially seeing, and I'm happy to have him in my collection. Storm Collectibles Ryu. This was the first figure I got from Storm's Street Fighter line, and it became a quick favorite. I really appreciate that Storm came out with several color variants right away for Ryu, which made it easier for me to buy both this and the SH Figuarts version. The standard version of this figure looks excellent too, but I definitely don't regret getting the alternate color version. Now, I did a full compare and contrast video of this figure and the figure arts, which I said I preferred the figure arts version. However, Storm's version is definitely awesome in a lot of ways, and he really looks impressive with all of his swap out hands and faces. You can still find him for retail price last I checked. I suggest picking one up. SH Figure Arts, Gohan. This figure came out pretty early in the year, but it was definitely one I wanted to mention. They really improved everything about the original Gohan figure for this release, and the quality and style overall stand head and shoulders above the original. The battle damage look is really nicely done, and he looks great alongside the Awakening Goku with the torn up clothes. We're going to be getting a version 2.0 of the standard Goku in the future. I would also love to see a standard non-battle damage version of Gohan as well. Great figure, and an excellent upgrade from the original version. Marvel Legends Jim Lee Cyclops. We were long overdue for this version of Slim Scott Summers to be redone. The last attempt from Toy Biz has not aged very gracefully at all, and became kind of tough to track down for a decent price. Now this new version takes everything about the 90s version of Cyclops and improves it tenfold over the previous figure. Now, this guy is not without his flaws, sadly. His harness and shoulder strap thing is a little loose fitting, and his leg strap things are just kind of fitted on. A little super glue and you're golden. This Cyclops is the update we have needed for a decade, and I'm thrilled to finally have it in my collection.
It's been a good rundown so far, wouldn't you say? How do you feel about the figures we've talked about thus far? I know I like them, or else I wouldn't have put them on this list. It would have been kind of a waste of time. A little misleading for me to go out and talk about figures I like if I didn't actually like them, but, you know, whatever. Let's move on to the top 3 of this countdown. So we're going to go 13, 12, and 11. Enjoy.
Mattel WWE Defining Moments Chris Jericho. This is the Jericho that fans have been wanting for a long time. Jericho was my personal favorite wrestler at the time that this figure was based on, and this may have been the highest point he achieved during that time. Becoming a legitimate threat and winning 2 matches in one night, defeating Steve Austin and The Rock, this figure captures that very nicely, including the 2 World Championship belts that he won. The head sculpt is probably the best Jericho likeness we've seen from Mattel. We were long overdue for a new long-haired Chris Jericho head sculpt, and this one is incredible in my opinion. Within the boundaries of what Mattel can do with an elite-style figure, I think this figure is essentially perfect. Really, really well done. Revoltech Wolverine. We've been lucky to see many different awesome X-Men figures released over the past 2 years or so, and this one definitely stands apart from the standard we've come to see from Marvel Legends. First things first, Revoltech figures are basically designed to be the most posable figures on the market. The articulation is fantastic, and easily the best of any Wolverine figure to date. The joints themselves can be a little awkward to look at, but with a little finessing, you can achieve a more natural looking pose. The figure includes a hyper-stylized set of claws for each hand, and the figure itself reminds me of the design from the Marvel vs. Capcom games. The other awesome thing to note, on a personal level, this figure is wearing my personal favorite of Wolverine's costumes, that being the updated yellow and blue that he wore throughout the mid to late 2000s. I've had 1 or 2 small QC issues, but they're fixable, and now the figure is definitely worthy of its spot on my top figures list. Storm Collectibles Ken. The rival of the previously mentioned Ryu, this figure is a great representation of the symmetry between the 2 characters. And yet, thanks to the redesign we got in Street Fighter V, Ken comes to us with a new look. I love the redesign they gave him in the game, and the figure reflects it perfectly. The added face, hair, and hands give it a lot of display options. He also has the same Hadouken accessory as Ryu, in a fiery orange, but he also has plenty of other flame effects that give him so many more options. Personally, I wasn't going to get this figure at first, but I'm really glad I did. I look forward to the color variants in the future, because I'm completely sold on this figure now. Buy it if you see it for a good price.
And there you have it. That's numbers 11 through 20 on my top figures countdown for 2017. Let me know what you think. Let me know which ones you think that should have been maybe on that list that weren't. Bear in mind, there's still 10 figures that we're going to go over, and that'll be in the next video. And, you know, once we get to the end of that, when you see numbers 10 through 1, you can tell me, well, maybe these figures belong down there, maybe I think some of these other ones did. Let's find out. Anyway, this has been Captain McKay, and I look forward to talking to you in the future, the very near future, about my top 10 personal picks for the action figures of 2017 that I think are the 10 best. I'll see you next time. Please feel free, comment, subscribe, share this video. If you found this video by accident, you're just listening to some guy talk about action figures, I'm surprised you made it this far along in the video, honestly. But by all means, watch some animation that I posted, watch some of the other figure-related content I've got on here. It's a fun channel, so check it out. We'll see you next time with numbers 10 through 1. Later on.
That's crispy.